I'm gonna get so much hate for this video, aren't I? There have been many people claiming to have the correct watch order for the Fate franchise, but is it really that simple? Well, one glance at the first few comments normally answers that question pretty fast, but I'm here to offer the hand of one who has been in your position not too long ago. For you see, I have not read the visual novel.
Oh my god. This guy's get out!
But yeah, I've been in the Fate franchise for like the past 3 years or so, and I feel like every time I see something wanting to get into it themselves, the confusion around the watch order scares them away immediately. If not that, the type of fans who refuse to acknowledge those who haven't read the 100-hour visual novel. So today I'm going to try explain some things that will make it a bit clearer on where to begin, what to avoid, and if there really is a correct watch order. Spoiler, the watch order is a myth. There isn't one. But we'll get to that. Oh, also, I'm going to be putting these into a tier list as I go, just so you guys can know my opinions on the series, because I think that's pretty important. So first, a few things to know prior to getting into this. Each series, except a few, covers a Holy Grail war. A war fought for the Holy Grail, obviously. Pretty much, in its basic form, 7 mages each summon a servant, which is a historical figure whose spirit is given a physical body to fight on behalf of their master, or the mage. The 7 servants fit into these 7 classes, so one of each class per Holy Grail war. Now, technically, there are other classes that exist, and there are wars that don't follow this structure exactly. And of course, there's the whole thing of the Greater Grail and the Lesser Grail, but we're not going to worry about that. This is all you need to know for now. Let's begin with what the kids call the main series. Essentially, these are the adaptations based on the original visual novel, as well as the prequel to all of them, called Fate Zero. Now, because of the way visual novels work, Fate Stay Night has 3 different routes, or basically 3 stories that start from the same spot and divert into different stuff. These being the Fate route, the Unlimited Bladeworks route, and the Heaven's Feel route. Or more simply put, the Saber route, the Rin route, and the Sakura route. There are 3 adaptations, one for each of these routes. Oh, so it doesn't really matter what order I watch the series in? Well, technically this is the chronological order, but the 2006 Stay Night adaptation isn't great, so you can just kind of remove it. Now, in theory, because they all start from the same spot, you could start on any of these, but the Heaven's Feel adaptation really skims over some early stuff, so I wouldn't recommend starting here. But you can if you want, technically. I'm not your mom, do what you want. Now, Fate Zero is the prequel to all of these. Thankfully, there's no multi-route BS happening here. Oh, Itsuki, should I watch Zero first because it comes first? Well, you can, but it's a little more complicated to start with, I find. I.e., you don't have this dumbass to realize stuff alongside you. So I watched it after all the Stay Night stuff. But again, I don't care. If you want to watch Fate Zero first, be my guest. As for my rankings of the main series, I feel like Stay Night kind of gets let down by Studio Dean's adaptation, but I'm going to rank them separately anyway. Bladeworks gets an S tier, Heaven's Feel gets an S tier, and I'll give the Fate route a B tier. Oh, and Fate Zero is also an S tier. Well, that was easy enough, wasn't it? That's what we consider the main series. The only stuff that really has a kinda order to it. But even then, it doesn't really matter. Oh, but Itsuki, what order do I watch the other stuff in? I thought I already told you, it doesn't matter. You can basically pick up these series in any order you want, just based on what you think is cool. If you like funny stuff with your favorite characters, watch Carnival Phantasm. If you like femboys and tomboys, watch Apocrypha. And if you like lollies, watch ILLYA. Though you may be liable for a prison sentence if this is the case. If that part confused you at all, don't worry, I'm about to give a brief glance into each of these series. And don't worry, I'm not going to overcomplicate it with how it fits into the timeline. If you want to know any of that, go watch Gigok's timeline video. For the time being, just pretend they're all standalone. Naiveness is key to sanity in this franchise. Alright, first up, if you're feeling scared after watching Heaven's Feel, check out today's menu for the Emiya family. It's literally just a show where Shiro cooks meals for all of the characters in Stay Night and they all get along. That's it. S tier. Carnival Phantasm is this goofy show, again with Fate Stay Night characters, that is basically just random little storylines about our beloved characters that kinda don't make any sense. Anyway, the whole thing is like a TV show for these little Neko guys. They're like repeating segments, running jokes, and also this series has characters from Tsukihime, another series in the same universe as Fate, but not a Fate series, of course. My favorite storyline is when Berserker goes to buy ILLYA some batteries and ends up winning the whole Grail War in the process somehow. This is another easy S tier. Alright, I got those out of the way. Let's get serious. Fate Grand Order. Now, Grand Order is actually the Fate mobile game, so every adaptation is based on the game's singularities. Here's the catch. They just straight up haven't adapted them in order. I mean, they adapted Babylonia, which is the 7th singularity, but they haven't even adapted the first one yet. For this, I would recommend playing the game, but if you don't care for gacha, the adaptations are all movies, excluding Absolute Demonic from Babylonia. To be honest, it doesn't really matter if you watch them in order, but if you do care, here's the order. If you just want to see as many servants fight as possible, you can honestly watch Babylonia on its own. I have a friend that did that and he's mostly fine. I can't really be bothered ranking all of these series separately, so I'm gonna put all of Fate Grand Order in an A tier. Okay, that was probably one of the worst ones to explain. Let's get through the rest. Apocrypha is basically Fate with teams, so 7v7 instead of 1v1v1v1v1v1. It has Astolfo and Mordred, so if you're into femboys or tomboys, this is the series for you. It even has a French lady if anyone cares. B tier. Fate Extra Last Encore may seem like a weird name. I mean, how can it be the last if it's the only one here? Well, it's not. Last Encore is essentially an anime that continues on from the Fate Extra and Extella games. Unlike Fate Grand Order, this one actually continues on from the games, as opposed to adapting parts from them. Basically, the Extra story is about a virtual Holy Grail war in the future, so the whole thing is kinda not real. But you can understand it if you know what a normal Holy Grail war is. Now, you may see characters like Shinji, Rin, Sakura, and Kirei in these games, but they're not the same. Why not? Don't worry about it.
Are you worrying about it? Cause I'm not.
To be honest, you could watch this on its own, but like, why would you? The only good part of this series is Nero Saber saying Umu. Okay, maybe you should watch this one. B tier. And now what you've all been waiting for, Fate DJ Khaled Prison Sentence ILLYA. This series is basically a magical ghost show about ILLYA. Instead of a real servant, they have trading cards for some reason. Anyway, I don't really get this anime. All I know is that season 2 is freaky. And when I say freaky, I mean illegally freaky. D for don't get caught watching this tier. Now, if you were to go on Crunchyroll right now and search up Fate, you would probably see this series and think, oh, this looks kind of interesting. And then see it only has 2 episodes and get a little bit confused. So allow me to explain. Fate Strange Fake aired episode 0 in July of 2023, then silence for a year and a half. Then they got our hopes up by releasing episode 1 on the 1st of January, or maybe the 31st of December, I don't know. Crunchyroll aired it late probably, but anyway. And then proceeded to give us nothing. No more details on any episodes, no release schedule, nothing. So when this series eventually drops, in 12 years time, it covers a fake Holy Grail war that's taking place in America. The series has Enkidu and Gilgamesh in it, so you know it's gonna be heat when it eventually drops. When this series does come out, I'm sure it'll be an S tier, but for now it has to go in fucking us around tier. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Well, that's all the animes I really feel like talking about for today. But now, what you've all been waiting for. Where do I think you should start? Well, you're not gonna like this, but it's up to you.
Oh my god.
Brother, this guy stinks!
I personally started with Bladeworks, followed by Heaven's Feel, then Zero, and from there just picked whatever I liked watching. Don't overthink it. If you saw clips from a series in this video that you thought looked cool, watch that one. It doesn't have to be complicated at all, because at the end of the day, all I want is for more people to get into this franchise I love. And I hope this video can help you with that. Alright, I'm gonna go read my 100-hour visual novel now so I can become a real fan. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this franchise and this series. Drop a sub or whatever, I don't really know. Bye-bye.
Way too rich to drive a road, made $1 million out the stove. She like to put it in her nose. Pretty bitch with white toes.